Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is on lymphocytes and how they support the immune system with killing cancer, foreign viruses, and bacteria in the body. What are lymphocytes? Lymphocytes are a special group of white blood cells, and the three types that I want to discuss today are natural killer cells, B cells, and T cells. Although they operate differently from each other, they share the same common goal of protecting the body from harm. So let's get started with natural killer cells. Natural killer cells are different than B and T cells because they don't need activation and they do not need prior exposure to the pathogen. They can simply eradicate the infected cell. And what they generally do is they will inject poison into the infected cell and just kill it. And the pretty cool thing about all this is each cell has a marker on it. And that marker will let the natural killer cell know whether it's good or should be in the body, or it's bad and it needs to be killed off. And the common good guy marker is called MHC1. And MHC1 stands for Major Histocompatibility Complex Class 1 Molecule. For the remainder of this video, we're just going to refer to it as MHC1. So that MHC1 attaches to the inhibitory receptor of the natural killer cell, and it turns the kill switch off. It pretty much says, hey, I'm the good guy, leave me alone, move on to the next cell. And that's exactly what happens. It's important to note that downgraded MHC1 can also be eradicated from the body if it doesn't express something that is less than normal. The natural killer cell will see that as a threat as well, and it will take it out. And how does a cell get downgraded? It could be from a viral infection. It could be a number of reasons. It's also important to note that if the immune system starts attacking the good cells, it could be indicative of an autoimmune disease. We're not really going to touch upon that in this video, but we will in the future. Another function of the natural killer cells are that they release cytokines, which are signaling proteins. And what they do is they pretty much recruit other cells in the immune system to join the fight, kind of like reinforcements to help eliminate the enemy. So when you just take that all in, your body is so complex and amazing. And the more research I do, I'm just in awe by how it just operates just 24/7 like that. The majority of us don't even think about this. And I think it's important because if you want to try to beat an enemy, you need to study the enemy. And that's exactly what I'm doing. After I was diagnosed with cancer, I needed to learn about my cancer, and I needed to learn about how my body protects me on a daily basis, and what can I do to fuel it with what it needs to fight, properly detect the threat, and to eliminate the threat. And that's why I'm sharing my knowledge with you. So let's get started with the next group, which are called B cells. B cells are important to the immune system because they produce protective proteins called antibodies. Antibodies are produced in response to antigens, and antigens are often referred to as antibody generators. Antigens are markers that let your immune system know whether something is safe or harmful in the body. And these antigens are usually polysaccharides, which are complex sugars, or proteins that are found on viruses, tumors, bacteria, and even normal cells. It's their unique shape that allows the immune system to determine if they pose a threat to the body. And how does this all work? B cells have receptors. The antigens attach to the receptors. The B cells recognize these antigens and they produce specific antibodies to eliminate them from the body. Now, there are two types of B cells. There are plasma cells that actually produce the antibodies that help eliminate the threat. And now there's also another type called memory cells. And this is really cool because memory cells will remember that specific antigen in the future. And what they do is if that enemy comes back, those memory cells will quickly convert to plasma cells. They multiply, and then they make that specific antibody quickly. That's one of the reasons why we only get the chickenpox once. And that's another reason for why we have vaccinations, because when you're injected with a specific antigen, those memory cells are going to remember. So the plasma cells help produce the antibodies to eliminate the threat. The memory cells help the body for the future. How cool is that? Now let's move on to T cells. Once T cells are activated, they attack the enemy directly, and they can also help control the body's immune response. And I'll explain that in a minute. Each T cell is unique in that it's designed to go after a specific intruder. So once the immune system identifies the threat, it will recruit the specific T cell needed to get the job done. And once that T cell is recruited, it will make copies of itself. And they're known as effector cells. So they're kind of like reinforcements that help charge the field to eliminate the threat. And it's important to note that these T cells continue to protect your body even after the threat is gone. Some of the T cells turn into memory cells instead of effector cells. So the memory cells don't attack the enemy directly, but they will remember that intruder in the future. So that way the immune system can be quicker with its response to eliminate the threat. So now let's talk about the different types of T cells. We have helper T cells, and what they do is they can help assist the B cells in producing antibodies, and they can also activate the cytotoxic T cells or killer cells. And then next you have the cytotoxic T cells, killer cells, and what they do is they attach to the antigens, and then they inject poison, and then they kill the infected cells. And then lastly, you have regulatory suppressor T cells, and what they do is they kind of put the brakes on the immune system and tell it when to stop the attack if the threat is no longer. So the next discussion is a sensitive topic, and I can talk about it because I received a load of chemotherapy, and there are pros and cons to chemotherapy. And one of the downfalls of chemotherapy is it destroys both the good and the bad cells. So think about that for a second. If the chemotherapy destroys all of your good T cells, the memory T cells, the memory B cells, what defense will you have in the future if those threats come back? And sometimes you hear patients that go into remission and the cancer comes back, and it comes back in different spots of the body and metastasis. And one of the reasons is because you don't have that defense anymore. The chemotherapy has destroyed your line of defense. Those memory cells are gone. And in my personal opinion, I feel like traditional chemotherapy will be replaced in the future with more of immunotherapy treatments, which is harnessing the power of your immune system to kill the threat, and not to use chemotherapy, which destroys both the good and the bad cells. That's just based on my experience and the research I've done. The next video will be uploaded shortly, and in that video I'm going to introduce an oil that is poison to so many different types of cancers, and it can also boost your natural killer cells, and it can also increase cytotoxic function in the immune system. So it is a must watch. Don't miss out on that video. If you are new to this channel, if you don't mind hitting that subscribe button, it's free to do, and it will allow you to comment on the channel. If you have a question, I'll respond back. And it also helps grow my channel, which is the ultimate goal. I want to help as many people as I can with preventing cancer and also battling it. That is my ultimate goal. So I hope you found this video informative, and stay tuned to the next video. It is a good one.